The Bible.
This is the Bible.
You question the words of the mighty
Taters.
Hey guys, how's it going? This video is intended to be a guide to anyone looking to play here on Valhalla. I'm going to be going over many different things, so feel free to skip to the parts that you don't really care to watch. I'm going to try and be conscious of people who are starting out playing Final Fantasy XI for the first time, but I'm going to be catering mostly to people who have played before. If you're looking for any particular item, it is strongly suggested that you use the database, or the DB for short. With that all out of the way, let's get into it. The basic rates are as follows for Valhalla. The level cap is set to 90. The experience rate is 2.5 times normal. Enemies will drop gil when defeated, and the gil rate from quests are 2 times normal. The fame rate is also increased by double, and the skilling up rate is 2.5 times faster, and you'll gain 0.3, 0.6, or 0.9 per skill up, and crafting skill up rate is 4 times faster, with the ability to get skill ups at every single level gap, including fails. Base movement speed is also quite fast. This also includes having every single movement speed item stacked together, so you can obtain some pretty crazy walking speed. And for some reason, if you wanted to relive the 75 cap era experience, Valhalla also has a custom at hardcore mode. This helpful little checklist will be the gil values associated with the jobs. Unfortunately, Rune Fencer and Geomancer are not available. Here is a list of the specific @ commands that are used on this server. Using @PW will apply an atma effect on your character. As long as you have the buff on, anybody can warp to you from anywhere. You cannot warp to anyone else as long as the atma buff is on you. On here, you typically use the less than symbol to indicate that it is on. This can be removed by either waiting for 15 minutes or by dying. There's also a little neat trick. On the upper right hand of the treasure pool is a button you can use to skip the entire treasure pool of everything that you have not botted on. Use the plus button on your numpad or triangle or Y on your controller to access it. Of course, if you're going to start playing the game, you might want to change some things around. So let's go into the config section really quick. Under the first one marked gameplay, you're going to want to go down to inventory and turn auto sort to on. From now on, any item gained will automatically sort itself in your inventory. Under type, you can choose whether to sort items by type or by alphabet. Unfortunately, that does not work. Since we can get a lot of treasure hunter from augments, there is a chance that you will come across item overflow. There is unfortunately no way to prevent this from happening, but there is a way for it to automatically force the item to go to the person you want it to. To do this, you need to turn off auto sort and unstack something. I usually use Shihei until that character's inventory is full. When your inventory is full, you will automatically be skipped for every item that drops. And then, when you're done, simply just sort your inventory and everything's stacked again and you got space. Under chat filters, you can turn off certain bits of text that show up in the chat log, so you can only see the things that you want to see. Unfortunately, they tend to not stick. You can also send the tell command to play a sound every time that you get one. Font colors allow you to change the color of the text that appear in the game. Windows change how the chat windows appear, and if you want up to 2 of them. You can also change the background of the windows, and I highly recommend that you turn off the window effect, because that animation eats up a lot of time, but you can keep it on if you like the way it looks. You can also turn on and off the timestamp if you need or want it in. Log determines what will show up in each of the chat windows. Miscellaneous allows you to choose how the in-game damage is displayed over the enemy, in the chat, or both. PC Armor Display lets you choose to display players' armors or default set of armor. I suppose it's to help load times in retail, but in here you just kinda see people in their underwear. Only thing to note in Miscellaneous 2 is a keyboard feature, as it defaults to compact. Changing it to full allows you to type instead of needing to press spacebar first. Miscellaneous 3 has a bunch of useful buttons. Area display allows you to see a radius on your sub-target icon, and affected players or enemies will have their name sizes increase. Party icon display allows you to see buffs that are on your party members, but unfortunately not your alliance members. Timer display will put a value underneath every single buff or debuff that you have, showing how long it will last. It will blink when it has 5 seconds or less remaining. Mouse/cam allows you to change how the mouse and camera movement operate. This is useful for people like me who prefer inverse up and down movement, because we're weird. Ashita V3 also has quite a few useful add-ons and plugins worth getting. Unfortunately, Retail had a relatively recent upgrade that changed the way the plugins work. This kind of broke it for many of the private servers. It is recommended that you go to the Discord and look for the pinned message showing you where to find the links to the old legacy copies of the plugins and add-ons. You can go into the scripts folder and edit the default.txt to automatically load them as you enter the game. Eternity, Gateway, iBar, Tea Party are all pretty useful add-ons. Use the command /add-on load add-on name to load add-ons, and /load plugin name to load plugins. You can also unload them by typing /add-on unload add-on name and /unload plugin name. So macros are probably the best thing about this game, what sets it apart from every other. Every single book has 10 sets that you can mess with, and each has a set with 10 hotkeys for Control and Alt. There are 20 books, which means you can have a total of 4,000 macros. On top of this, they added in an equipped set page. There are 100 total sets that you can make, and they can be used at any time by typing /equip set number. If you rename the set, you can see the number in the upper left when it's highlighted. They can be used in macros, allowing you to change entire sets at a time. That is 16 items. Of course, if you're beginning, you probably won't have much, but this is incredibly useful to remember when you will have a shitload of items. This option allows you to view any bit of inventory that you have access to. Initially, your Mog Sack, Mog Safe 1, and Mog Safe 2 will be limited in size. Mog Satchel, Mog Sack, and Mog Case can all be accessed at any time and can hold any item. The Mog Wardrobes can only hold weapons and armors, but they can also be used at any time. They can also be equipped directly from your wardrobe, so you can place any macro equipment in there to save yourself some space. Do not put charged equipment in there because you cannot use their charges while they're inside your wardrobe. Keep in mind, the more total items you have, the longer your load times will be. Now, this particular map is useful for finding a region to warp to, and in general to see what connects where and who owns that particular region. Owning a region is important for regional vendors, which a lot of food recipes rely on. Anything owned by Beastmen means no one can use that vendor. You can raise your influence by killing enemies while you have Signet active. Signet also provides you with the following buff. Conquest Overseers also provide you with equipment based on your rank, and a lot of which can be extremely helpful in gearing yourself out early on. They also provide XP rings which you can use to further boost your gains while leveling. Empress Band is pretty much the ideal choice here. Signet lasts longer the higher your rank, and also if your country is in last place. The only way for it to go away is to run the timer down. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Open this button and you can see the map of your current area. Wide scan will list any NPCs or enemies within a certain range, allowing you to find them simply by looking down the list. You can also lock on one of them, which will show up as an arrow on your mini radar. You can also use the markers tab to place down notes for personal use. And you can press right or left to see your party member's location on the map. I highly recommend downloading all maps so that your maps will have neat little markings for everything you could possibly want in that particular area. Certain abilities contain special effects unique to this server. For example, using Sentinel will immediately maximize your hate, making it an excellent starter ability for longer fights if you're a paladin. Or if for some reason you want to tank on a job other than paladin, this can be extremely useful. Linkshells are the in-game version of guilds. You can chat with anyone that you have equipped. You can also equip up to 2 of them. The shortcut Ctrl+L will allow you to chat with the first one, and Ctrl+X will allow you to chat with the second one. You can also use /CML to chat with Linkshell 1 and /CML2 to chat with Linkshell 2. Valkyrie is the default one that you should have, and it's the one that pretty much everybody uses. Valkyrie is pretty much the server's default Linkshell and the one that mostly everybody uses. The alternative is /Yell, which acts as a server-wide chat. Every perk NPC can be found in @mod. If you're starting out, you're going to want to start unlocking these guys as soon as you can. That means you're going to want 24 fire crystals, 5 beastman seals, 12 of any cluster, and 10,000 guilds of Odin. This server has a trust system. As of May 28th, 2022, there are a total of 11 different trusts you can obtain. It's recommended that you look at the Valhalla wiki to see a list of all the trusts that you can obtain and where to get them. Odin also has a bunch of neat abilities that you can learn permanently. These traits will be active as soon as you buy them. The job abilities must have the requisite job at level 50 in order to use. I highly recommend that you get Warrior and Paladin to 50 first. When that job is at 50, simply talk to Odin as that job in order to permanently unlock it. You will now have access to that job ability upon hitting the level that it normally gets it, or at level 50. If you sub that job, you will not be able to access it until the sub normally gets it. For example, meditate as Samurai. This is also why we don't sub Paladin, because you lose Rampart. As you get more perks opened up, you can access the various augment chests. Make sure you trade all the ingredients and the item to augment at the same time. Augments are level restricted, so get the right gear to use. Also, not every single combination can fit the limited 7 ingredient slots that you have. This is the key to becoming super strong. So let's say for example I wanted to augment this Sapara. Step 1. Cut a hole in the box. What do you mean that's not the scope of this video? Step 1. Go to the highest tier augment chest that you have unlocked. Trust me, use the highest tier that you have unlocked every single time. Step 2. Trade the augment chest. You're going to have 8 spaces. You're going to want to place all your ingredients. You can have a grand total of 4 augments. You cannot do them one at a time. Pretty simple. These items will now be giving an augmented and exclusive tag, which means you can no longer trade this with anybody. If you simply want to remove augments, trade the item to the augment chest and a gil amount. One will work and it'll get rid of the augments on that item. Once you hit level 30, you can unlock other jobs beyond the original 6. There are 2 ways. One is to simply do the quest normally, and the other is to trade sheep with 25 shaman garlics. You can find shaman garlics off orcish curse makers. It's not recommended to use the garlic route for jobs like Puppet Master or Summoner, as those quests give them unique items or abilities. Your next task is going to be wanting to get up to rank 6. Of course, you probably won't be able to, so you're going to want to focus to getting at least 3. Ramen requires level 40 and rank 3 or above to be able to use. You will want to get a smooth stone from the crawlers in West Saruda. While you're there, head into Gideus and get yourself 30 Yagudo necklaces to unlock the Augment Chest 3. Hold on to any kindred seals that you may obtain from enemies above level 50, as you will need 25 of them to unlock Chest 4, and an additional 10 to unlock the final Augment Chest. You can also throw money at Ramen to skip most of the limit break quests, until you get to the mod fight. Make sure you get the Drachenfall water from the quest to increase your mod stack to 80. You'll want to wait till you're above 80 to attempt Ananta Boga, a Zeni notorious monster, to increase your mod stack. If you're at least level 50, you should have no problem doing the rank missions until you're around rank 5. The Burning Circle Notorious Monster fights have an additional 10 level bonus, which means Trust can pretty much solo each of these fights for you. I highly recommend you bring the Black Mage Trust to the rank 6 fight, otherwise you're going to spend 17 minutes or more waiting for the bastard's physical shield to wear off. Head over to @Mog2 if you want to access a bunch of different crafting shops, all in one easy to find location. Crafting comes with a bonus here, as every 0.1 skill translates to 100 XP. You can level up while you craft, literally. Additional materials that cannot be obtained normally can also be found in the @Lib crafting shop. On this server, day and moon phase affect crafting results. Direction facing does nothing. When joining a guild to get guild points, remember that you must wait 1 real life day before you can turn in an item for guild points. The @Lib is essentially the gathering point for this server. There are 2 NPCs for newbies here. One sells level 15 pieces of the salvage arbors, and the other one sells various levels 1 to 20 weapons. There is a gift box in the center of the room that gives you free gil and XP every hour. The daily quest NPC has 2 level 20 fights, a level 40 fight, a level 60 fight, a level 75 fight, and a level 90 fight at the Gelsba outpost. They each come with their own rewards, and you must fight one of the avatars. The level 90 fight is probably one of the hardest ones, as you're up against Fenrir and 2 elementals. Trust can carry you pretty far if you're not geared, but their damage output is pretty lacking. You're definitely going to want to use the relic weapon shop right next to the hunt board, as 250,000 gil is pretty cheap for a really useful weapon. Speaking of the hunt board, if you use the command @hunt, you can activate every single hunt at once. What are hunts? Hunts are just simply repeatable quests for killing specific enemies and notorious monsters. Each hunt is part of a separate tier, and each tier has a separate reward associated with it. By turning it in, you can obtain either gil or an item. A lot of these items are largely unobtainable otherwise. Last but not least, in the library, there is an NPC next to the Moogle that sells various spells, most of which are unobtainable for a particular reason, so buy them as soon as you can get them. There's also a little blue magic frog nearby for spells that are either broken or unlearnable. How do I level? Well, let me tell you right now. The best way is to join a party with me, because I'm the greatest. But basically, you're going to want to have a lot of augments on your gear. Even if the only augments that you put on them are the stat augments, they will take you a long way. I would recommend that if you're going to be leveling a lot of melee classes, you want to get a sub-job of Blue Mage. The physical blue magic that they can use is quite useful early on, and the accuracy is based on your weapon skill. For mages, I recommend Scholar, since Scholar now caps magic relative to your main job and not your sub-job. Of course, you can just say f***ing and do whatever you want, and that works too, right? What job do you want to start with? Most people probably think they could just come in, play their favorite job, and start kicking ass. And then they start getting to the endgame content, finding out that their gear sucks and their augments are shit, and they get their ass beat. So, they either quit, or they need to be carried through literally everything. So, in regards to getting your first 90 or general all-around useful classes, I offer this. I would say Paladin and Black Mage are by far the two most useful classes to level here, if you're going to be doing everything alone. Paladin has access to the strongest tanking gear in the game, in addition to one of the best weapon skills on the server for pure damage. I'm talking about Resolution. They also have access to some of the best equipment for weapon skills, and that is shared among a lot of the job that have similar strong weapon skills, like the Twilight Mail. Because Paladin is essentially a brick wall, you can eventually kill anything you might need. It just might take a while. Black Mage is easily the best farming job in the game. The majority of his strength comes from movement cells, which give them magic attack bonus plus 6 in a single augment. However, even if all you have was int plus magic attack bonus 2 augments, you can still get quite a far into the game. Elemental bees on level 81 plus gear are easily the cheapest and quickest source of massive damage boost that no other job can easily get. This is essentially the melee equivalent of weapon skill damage augments. In terms of leveling up, Black Mage has a very consistent speed. That speed is Sanic tier. With full magic attack bonus plus 6, you can just obliterate everything and make everyone go like, what the f***? Seriously, look at this number. Look at this number! Look at it! Another reason is this job can dump a lot of damage in a relatively short time frame for a low investment of time and money. However, when it comes to pure damage, melees are going to be better. That's just a fact of life. On the flip side, Black Mages have a lot of area of effect spells, which can bring in a lot of chump change simply from killing an absolute shitload of enemies. Now, if you add in the Treasure Hunter augments, you can now see where this is going, and now you understand why Black Mage is one of the best farming classes in the server. But what do I consider the most broken job on the server? That would be Blue Mage. Why? Well, there's just a lot of reasons. Number 1. Magic Barrier ignores pretty much every single incoming magic damage and debuff. The only way it's going to be removed is through Dispel. Number 2. Occultation has a million shadows with a really short recast. Okay, maybe not that many, but it's a blink that makes every ninja jealous. Number 3. Triumphant Roar or Plenilune Embrace or Fantod, Warm Up, and Animating Wail for everything a growing DD needs. Number 4. Innervation is an easily applied defense down and magic defense down debuff. All the defense down moves are more or less the same in terms of how much they remove, and this one in particular is really easy to apply. Blue Mage has a number of them. Number 5. Delta Thrust for the dual wield trait. Augments can offer an extra 5% dual wield to help them reach that delay cap of 80%. Number 6. Benthic Typhoon and Goblin Rush for the skill chain bonus. This effect is multiplicative and goes extremely well with skill chain damage augments, which is a separate multiplicative effect. Oh, and Benthic Typhoon is also another defense reduction ability. Number 7. Chan Du Sing is a multi-hit FTP, and blue has higher base FTP values for this level skill, and it critical hits, and it's their aftermath, and Impure and Aftermath stacks on all 3 levels were over 100% double attack. Number 8. All mace can be dual wielded. Number 9. All mace can be fucking dual wielded. Number 10. That's 35% uncapped physical damage reduction. It also boosts Chan Du Sing damage a lot. Number 11. Whirl of Rage's stun lasts longer than the cooldown, and it'll never get resisted unless the monster is immune to it.
What? What the?
Oh sh. As it stands, Blue Mage is really the only melee damage dealer that is given an absurd amount of survivability. Other jobs would require some form of carrying in full-on damage reduction gear to even have a chance to survive most things. And that's on top of needing rampart orders just to survive the magic damage from bosses. Most of this craziness can be attributed to the damage reduction that was meant for Paladin and the fact that Magic Barrier is ridiculously powerful. If you're looking for an easy low-level job to do dungeons with, Puppet Master's Automaton is generally the low-effort G's. Dark Star Private Servers, or DSP, has a history of not being able to enter range damage, and so the tomatoes can easily benefit from this quite insanely well. Sengu made a guide to speedrunning Dungeon 40 with the tomato here. I recommend using it if you're not quite geared but you want a job that you can easily get pills with. You ain't got a sub job? Well, you got 2 choices. You can either gather 50 Beastman Seals, or you can get the items Crab Apron, Damselfly Worm, and Magic Skull from the Snipper, Damselfly, and Ghoul, respectively, in the Vulcan Dunes. The skull can be obtained from ghouls at night or anytime in Guskin Mines. Isachio is generally the sub-job quest of choice, as no one goes tomorrow. No one. No one. Once you hit level 50, you're going to have to start doing a limit break quest every 5 levels. If you're rank 3, then you can simply throw money at ramen to skip most of the lower ones. Trust can easily be used during the mod fight, and they will wreck his face. For Puppet Master, Corsair, Blue Mage, Scholar, or Dancer, you will need to do a different quest since those fights do not function here. Every limit break from mod and up cannot be skipped. You will have to do them. Look for the outpost teleport relative to your nation. On this server, all outposts are unlocked, so you can teleport to any one of them, given you have enough gil and you are at least level 10. Nearby to the outpost teleporter there are Explorer Moogles. These Moogles can take you to the 3 different nations, along with Selbina and Mara. Also, home point teleports do work here, so you're going to want to touch every single one of them you come across. The @shop has a Dougal guard ring, so you can quickly teleport to Rulu Gardens if you want. You're going to want to get yourself 4 Gosmic Grass from the flies in the Rifatod Mountains, and do this quest immediately after hitting level 20. There's no wait time on this server, so keep trading until you get the quest done. After you get your license, be sure to talk to that tiny little midget chocobo Mapitoto to unlock your mounts. If you managed to get to this point, thank you for taking time to watch my terrible video. I hope this was informative and that you got a laugh or two. If you enjoyed it, then please leave me a comment telling me, like or dislike as you so choose, and in the next video I will give you tips on what you should do to get shredded like lettuce as a fresh new level 90 character. This ending sequence was hard to make, please stop.